Hello, Sean.
Oh, there you are, Zach. How you doing?
What's going on, dude? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty darn great. How are you doing tonight?
Man, we're doing fucking great, dude. We just got done blasting The Beast, and then we did Savage Ghost, man. Fucking awesome shit, dude. Awesome.
Sick. Good call on both of those. Yeah, it's great to hear. Those songs, oh, man, love them. Super fun.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. You guys are fucking tearing it up on that shit, man.
Yeah, thank you. It's both of those songs, like Savage Ghost, which is the newest one. It's that riff we kind of had it laying around for about 5 or 6 years already, and we didn't know what in the hell to do with it. And then me and Randy got together last summer, and after 5 years at the time, suddenly the whole thing, literally, I think the whole song was done in 10 minutes, but we couldn't figure out what to do with that main riff until then.
Hell yeah, dude. That riff is fucking, it's badass, dude. Last week I had Randy on the show, and we were talking a lot about it, and one thing I was 'cause I always like to ask people when they come on the show about, for the gearheads out there,
yeah.
We got to talk about the amps and guitars and pedals and stuff like that. He was like, oh man, you have to talk to Sean. So, so I'm glad we got you on here tonight, man. We can dig into that, dude. Tell us, well, what kind of stuff were you using in the studio to get these sounds, man? Because it's crushing, man.
Oh, thank you. I am definitely a tone and gear nerd, pretty much on max at all times. But for that song, well, for most of the songs, honestly, I typically use Les Paul Customs of the EMGs, but my recording guitar, 90% of the time, is a 2001 Gibson Zach Wild Bullseye.
Hell yeah!
That I got in the fall of that year. That's like those old EMGs. They got like soldered wires as opposed to ones that you plug in nowadays. So
yeah.
those ones are just a bit warmer and over 20 years old now. So it's got lots of age on it as well. And then I'm a huge amp nerd as well. I actually have a Friedman BE100.
Nice.
BE100, and that's a crazy amp that I traded off a bunch of stuff for at the time, because that's usually too rich for my blood, like anybody else, because those are expensive but slamming amps.
But it's worth it.
And then, oh man, there's just nothing sounds like them. They're so great. And then for pedals, what I use on that, I think, if I recall, I'm actually a huge Klon pedal nerd. So I have like 3 different copies of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the one I use on that is from J Rocket, and it's called the Archer Icon. It's IKON, and it's the gold one. And I always actually turn the gain down on my Friedman to about like 3.5, maybe 3.5, maybe 4, and then I turn up turn the Klon on, so it's almost like doubling an overdrive on an overdrive. And it's the sickest, warmest, roundest sound, as you've heard on there, and it's that's kind of like my bass tone.
Yeah, gain stacking, man. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, there's definitely a cool effect whenever because I mean, most amps, especially like that one, they got so much fucking gain built in already, but there's something different that you can find whenever you use a pedal and mix some of the gain from the pedal with a little bit of the gain from the amp, and then together it just creates its own unique, different. It's just different, it's unique, like can't. It's funny because it's so many guys, and when it comes to like metal tones, like we've heard a bazillion other metal tones, but it's honestly one thing I've actually gotten quite a few compliments on is the tone that I have on a lot of the songs. But I just I've never wanted to go full on distortion from the amp, because I feel it gets too fizzy. Like it kind of loses some body and loses some low end. So I'm always about just stacking overdrives and keeping them at like less than half of each one, and the sustain you get out of it, and just the tone, man. Obviously you've heard it. It's so slamming. Hell yeah, man. And that's crazy. You're talking about the Zach Wild, the Bullseye Gibson. I remember when those first came out on the market, and that's crazy that's 20 years ago. That's 20. The one that you have, is 20 years old. I think that's actually even older than that, really.
But like,
yeah. Actually, mine's actually 25 years old, and I remember at the time in 2001. If I recall, I think I bought that guitar in 2001 for $3,800, and that was a lot of money back in 2001 for me.
Yeah. Now they're like fucking 20,000.
They're out of control.
It's fucking insane, dude. You look at Reverb, man. It's like, fuck, dude. Yeah, man.
Well, if you want to know something crazy, I've been collecting guitars, and I've sold and kept and sold and kept. I got like 22 guitars right now. But one of my crown jewels, I actually have one of the 50 unearthed relic Randy Rhoads Les Pauls that they brought out in 2010.
Oh my God. That is...
Yep, it's amazing.
Wow, dude. Wow. That is fucking badass. Yeah, I was just about to tell you about mine, but I mean, that fucking blows away what I got. But I am proud. Like for my birthday this year, I got the fucking Wild Audio, the fucking Barbarian Ironworks with the fucking metal fucking
awesome.
thing on it.
That's crushing.
Yeah, it's fucking badass.
Yeah,
man.
that's
I love
cool.
it. I love it, man.
Very cool.
You know, one thing like one thing I was really impressed about it was the fact that, like, straight out of the box, man, you didn't have to set it up or anything. Like, it was just automatically, everything was put where it's supposed to be. The intonation was perfect. Everything was just set up right. You know, and that's kind of rare, you know. And a lot of times when you order guitars online from places, you know, like, you never know what you're going to get, man. But yeah, man.
That's totally true. You know, I've been and I still am hardcore Gibson nerd, and I was lucky enough to have Zach actually give me a couple of guitars actually. But the Wild Audio, I've been saying for at least the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, when you get your hands on one, they're like maximum bang for the buck.
Yeah.
You got real EMGs, you got real Grover tuners, you got real tone pros. The neck shape is fantastic. Like the frets are huge, so it's easy to play. And honestly, like, just like what you said, the intonation, tuning, and most of these guitars are coming out of a box. They're not even coming out of a case, and you can still pick it up and play a show with it that night with how it's set up from where it just came from.
Yeah, man, I fucking love it, dude. Hell yeah,
totally.
Man. Yeah, he's fucking killing it with them fucking things, man. I mean, some of them are pretty fucking wild looking too, man. But yeah.
Yeah, some of them are a little too wild looking, but they're still great guitars, man. Great guitars. I've had my hands on every single model, and they really are like some of the best bang for the buck of any make of anyone at all.
Hell yeah! So tell us about your connection with Zach Wild and JD and Jeff, man. Like how all this thing came together.
Okay, awesome. I was a massive Zach Wild mark for years, and then I had all of his signature gear at the time, and he was coming through my small city here up in Canada in Saskatoon. It's only about 350,000 people. He was coming through with Ozzy in October 2007, and the music store here was like, oh man, it'd be great if we could hook this up for you to actually find a chance to meet this guy. So they tried to get something to go through Dunlop, couldn't make it happen. Tried to get something to go through Marshall, couldn't happen. But of all things, it went through with Gibson. So they got him set up to come to do an in-store autograph signing type thing, meet and greet, blah, 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 the night before the Ozzy show. So the local music chain up here in Canada is called Long and McQuaid Music, and it's like Guitar Center in the States. There's like 130 stores across Canada or something like that. So they set it up for me to be hired, quote unquote, for the day, so I could be there for the whole time he's at the store and get to hang out with him and meet him. And he came in and he came up to everybody, how you doing? I was the only person that was like, I don't know, there's like 17 people standing there to meet him of the staff and whatnot. And I was the only person that said, I'm good, man. How are you? And he's like, oh, good. So we started talking that night. We hung out all night at the meet and greet, and then everything was cool. End of the night, whatever, 3 or 4 hours of hanging out. See you later, coming to show you up, blah, blah, blah. I just happened to be driving around downtown the next day, literally like 2 in the afternoon, and who's walking across the street? No joke, Zach Wild. Total fluke. So I jumped out of my vehicle, waved him down, and he remembered me from the night before, so we visited, and then we hung out again, saw the Aussie show. It was crushing. And then it was about 9 months later, he played at a metal festival in Calgary up here that had Ozzy and Judas Priest playing. And lo and behold, dude, no joke. Again, we were driving around downtown Calgary. Who's walking across the street? Zach Wild. Just a total fluke. So I jumped out, went over and talked to him, and he totally remembered me. And we kind of hung out for the whole weekend. We exchanged numbers because we found out we had a lot of other things in common, and that's it. That's really it. We literally, I text with him and message with him every single flipping day of the year, all day long. Like we have just lots of stuff in common, and we are genuine friends. So through that, obviously, I met all the Black Label guys, and I remember me and Randy met at a meet and greet in Seattle, I think it was, during a Priest Black Label tour, and we exchanged numbers and everything's cool. And then I think him and his wife and daughter came up to that same show a couple of days later in Vancouver, if I recall. And we just hit it off and exchanged numbers and kept in touch. A couple of months later, he's like, "Yeah, I'm looking at doing this thing with Nancy McCallum from Alice in Chains, like Lane Staley's mom." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "I was just thinking about doing some music. Do you write music?" I'm like, "Yeah." So he's like, "You got anything you send me?" So I just did a quick video, sent it to him, and he was like knocked out. He's like, "You wrote this?" I'm like, "Yeah." "This is unbelievable." I'm like, "Okay, great." So we did the song. We both were really happy with it, and I was like, I wonder if I could bug guys in Black Label to get on this and message them. And honestly, it wasn't really much of a headache. They were like, "Yeah, sure, let's check it out." And they both liked it, and then we excuse me, a little bit later, we did the Monster record for Honor North, and well, I bugged Randy to see if he wanted to do it, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know, kind of feeling like I'm retired from music." I said, "Well, would you be interested if I can get guys from Black Label on it?" He was like, "That makes it more interesting." So we originally planned to just do a few songs with them, with Jeff and JD. We actually flew out to New Jersey. JD's got a studio in his basement at his house there, and we planned to do 3 songs. And it was literally after they really heard the 3 songs, they're like, "Maybe we should just do the whole album together." And we're like, "Well, that would make it a lot easier for us." So it was really that easy. We just decided to knock the whole record out. We did I think we did all the recording in JD's place in 2 different sessions, and then we were off and running. And that's basically the story.
Man, that is so fucking cool, dude. You know, that's like the classic you never know until you ask type of situation too, you know, like there's
totally
there was an interview that I did a long time ago with Lisa Mann. She had a solo project called White Crone, and she had Vinny Appice. Okay. Vinny Appice played drums on it, and I was asking her,
nice.
"How did you get Vinny to play on that?" And she was like, "I just reached out and asked him, you know," and he said yes. She was like, "You know, you never know until you ask." I'm like, that exactly. It's like you never know, man.
There it is. You miss 100% of the chances, or 100% of the shots you don't take. Like that's you just sometimes just throw it out there and see what the heck happens.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, when you met Zach, was that back when he was drinking, or was that after?
That was definitely back when he was still having some pops.
What was he like back then, man? What was that like? Was he pretty insane, like everybody says?
He definitely had his moments. I can't say that he didn't have his moments, but he was just all day long was basically a party, like all day long. And there was some nights I definitely was out there having a few pops with him. And unlike him, I didn't roll out of bed and let's play a rock show. I rolled out of bed and then rolled back into bed. Let's just put it that way.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I watched a lot of those old interviews, when they're talking about back when he was partying with Dimebag and all that shit, man. Like, I can only imagine to be a fly on the wall in that room, you know, and see, man, you know, I never stop thinking about it to this day, you know, like what could have happened, you know, or what could have been, like, had Dime, if Dime was still here, like, if those two would have, because I know they used to talk about, you know, putting together some sort of little project off on the side or something, you know, what that would have been like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Man.
I've definitely had my thoughts about that too. We got our little sliver of a taste of what it could have possibly been like, because Zach played on that Damage Plan record. I know he played a solo and sang some background vocals or something like that, but I can't. I know they were. I remember reading an interview way back when they were talking about trying to get Eddie Van Halen on it with them as well. But
and Kerry King too. Kerry King was in on that too.
Yes, exactly. So, and really everybody else that could go on there with the two of them, it would just be more icing, because the two of them, like, it just would have been so freaking fun to have them literally probably having the time of their lives and ripping everything up and ripping all of our head off. Because, like, even just that record that Dime had done with David Allan Coe, who just passed away this week, rest in peace. That record, you can just hear that they're just having a great time. And David Allan Coe, like, fair and square, not much of a guitar player. So if you put Dimebag with Zach, the only thing I can think of is it'd just be like unreal. Like, you can't even imagine how sick, heavy, fun,
but like dueling
crushing.
Like dueling banjos, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly like that. Yeah.
Oh man, it would have been
fun. So I got a question for you. You're down there in Nashville?
No, Jackson. I'm
Jackson. You?
I'm about halfway between Nashville and Memphis.
Okay. Are you heading to that Black Label show next week?
Absolutely, man. I already got my tickets. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome, man. I wish I could be there for that show too, because I'm just being a mark. I'm still Zach's a friend. They run the Black Label's a friend, obviously, but they're killing it right now. And Zach Sabbath, I'm a huge fan of that. And Dario's band, Dark Chapel, man.
Oh yeah.
God, they are so slamming live, and Dario's vocals are getting so strong, man. It's such a crushing bill. You're gonna have a slamming, amazing, like almost out of body experience with every band that's just gonna run you over.
Yeah,
in a good way.
dude. I've seen Zach with Black Label so many fucking times throughout the years, like all the way back to back when Stronger Than Death came out. But
good.
Yeah, and with Ozzy, of course. But recently, I did go to Memphis. It was just last year, and we saw Zach Sabbath with Dark Chapel, which was awesome. And then there was also an AC/DC cover band there too. I can't remember what they were called, but they were fucking crushing it too.
Was that in December?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, I was there.
Were you? No shit.
I was there. Yes.
Hell yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we were right up. Me and my friends, we were right up there, right up on the front, man. Fucking, it was the whole night too. Like, it was crazy. It was one of those moments. Like, normally I don't usually get up there to the front. You know, normally it's so fucking crowded, but I think the pit was getting so crazy at one point that some of the people that were up front, they decided that they couldn't take it no more, and they got out of there, and there was this big opening right there in the front, and I was like, hell yeah. We
awesome.
We got it right up on there and got some good shots, man, and got to enjoy the show.
Awesome.
Man. It was cool. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing them it's going to be at the Ryman next week, which is really cool too, because that's a cool venue, man. I bet it's going to sound amazing.
It is. It's going to be super cool. I took a tour through there, I think, when we were in Nashville for that same time frame. And yeah, I haven't been to a show there yet, and it looks like it would be super fun to be in there.
Yeah, I've never been to a show there, but I've heard about it, and you know, from what I've heard, it's built like a church, and like it's just, you know, the acoustics. It's got to be amazing, man.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Well, so tell us about you guys, man. Like, what do you guys have coming up next, and what are you guys working on?
We're always working on new music. We've got some big things kind of in the pipeline here that until I get a contract in my hand, we're not saying anything, just because we don't want to
let the quote unquote cat out of the bag before it's nailed down. But we have hopefully having something like giant to announce here within the next few weeks. New music. I bet you right now, I think we have another 6 or 7 songs that are done. I just literally sent Randy some more music last night. Like, as far as new songs for us to finish flushing out here, we've got, like, I bet you at least 20 ideas to rattle off here for next record. We don't have a time frame for the record yet, but we're just sticking away at it because we're just focusing on getting the live thing together, and that's pretty much the immediate future as far as that goes. So we're just working on getting some live stuff knocked out and nailed down, and then more new music. It's going to be never-ending more new music here for the next forever.
Hell yeah, man! Well, I'm super excited to hear about it and hear everything and be a part of it too. It's really cool. Like, what was it like? I don't know. It was like a couple months ago, I think somebody emailed me about you guys having a new track coming out, and they mentioned JD and Jeff playing on it. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was checking it out. I was like, hell yeah. And then next thing
awesome.
I know,
that's great to hear.
Next thing I know, somebody's reaching out to me, hiring me to help promote it. So I'm like, fuck yeah, man. I'm in, dude.
Absolutely. It's all good. It's all good. No, we definitely appreciate you pumping us on the radio. Appreciate talking to you on the phone here. It's a blast, and I'm always the type of guy who just likes to talk and meet people all the time too. So it's just always great to hear the voice of another metal guy like myself. And I'm into all music as well too. Like, I'm Allman Brothers head. I love Dua Lipa. I love Slipknot. I love Dwight Yoakam. I'm all about all music that's just anything that's authentic. You know what I mean? So, and as a metal guy yourself, like, metal is pretty freaking authentic. Like, that's it. But basically, it's getting those bad emotions out and just releasing that crazy energy. And it's as real as it gets. So I'm super revved to talk to you, and hopefully we can meet up face to face at some point.
Absolutely, man. That would be awesome, dude. That would be awesome. I was going to ask you, like I like to ask everybody, like, growing up, what was some of the stuff that you were listening to when you were a kid that got you into playing this music and drove you to wanting to play guitar? Do you remember, like, that specific moment when it happened?
I remember the first riff that got me, and this will seem like I don't know, but when you think about it, it's actually a pretty heavy rock riff, and it was "Let's Go Crazy" by Prince.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
When that song kicked in, that riff, like I remember that playing his dad back in the day of doing the classic air banding it on a tennis racket. I'm like, this is so cool. What is this? And then the next thing that took me on after that, as far as, like, got my head going, and I remember getting my first guitar at 15 years old from my dad for Christmas, and it was Ace Frehley and Kiss, baby.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah,
Yep,
that's funny that you mentioned Prince. Prince was fucking amazing too, man. And his solos too, man. But, like, yeah, so underrated. Like, you watch him, and it's like the clouds opening. It's like mountains moving, but no one ever talks about him as a guitar player. And that guy could frickin' play. He'd play Hendrix on steroids, is what that guy was all the time. Man, he was so sick of a player. What's that video on YouTube? I think it's when my guitar gently weeps or something. At the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's on there with Tom Petty and some of the Beatles, and, like, a whole bunch of just like fucking, just legends, man. But I remember when it gets to his part, and he comes out there and he just rips into that solo, man. It's fucking insane, dude. He's just going nuts. It's cool.
Absolutely. I was like watching that one, and the one where he's doing the Super Bowl halftime, and it actually starts raining on him when he's doing Purple Rain. It's just like, man, this is like transcending.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for me, when I was a little kid in the early 80s, I think my first real big introduction to music and what drew me in was Michael Jackson Thriller, man. When I saw that, it was like, what the fuck, man? This is insane. And then, then later on, I guess Iron Maiden and Motley Crue and stuff like that started coming out and all that shit. But yeah, that was definitely
Totally.
It's cool, man.
It was
It's that
I was in the same boat.
Those are some of those artists that not a lot of metalheads will really talk about or think about, but at the time back then, if you didn't have a whole lot of outlets to that kind of thing, and for me, it was just radio, it was what my mom was blasting on the radio or what was on MTV and stuff like that. That's what we saw, man. That's what we knew.
Yep. I was like I said, I did the Prince thing, and then it came to Kiss, and then I was all about glam metal after that too, with Dokken and Poison and Cinderella and LA Guns and all those bands, and then I'll never forget my best friend Mike Shaw. He borrowed this cassette from another guy in our class, and we both went home and put it on, and we were just like, "What the hell is this?" And it was fucking Master of Puppets. Here we go.
That is exactly how it goes, man. My first concert was Cinderella opening up for Bon Jovi on the Slippery When Wet tour. I was like 7 or 8 years old. My babysitter actually took me with her to it because they were big fans, and they heard me in my room all the time blasting shit. So they asked my mom, they're like, "Is it okay if we take him?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course, you'll love it." And so I went to that, and that really just blew my mind, like that opened the doors. But then a couple years later, Metallica, the one video was on MTV, and then they had I remember they had a commercial on TV for their tour, and they were playing a piece of Master of Puppets in that commercial, and that just just that part was Master. I was like, listen to that. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So heavy, man. Like this is, it's like
so heavy.
Shit, man. But yeah, I guess for a while there, I started. I remember when that shit happened, it started going towards the heavier stuff. You're looking into Slayer and Overkill and Testament and all that shit. And my glam metal tapes and stuff like that started collecting a little bit of dust. But as I gotten older, like nowadays, I listen to all of it. And like now, everything throughout my entire lifespan, all of it, I still love it and appreciate all of it, man. Like you mentioned Dokken, and all that shit, man. God, man, so much good stuff.
Absolutely. It's funny you say that you appreciate everything from your whole life now, because if you're a music fan, like if you're into one kind of music, great. But I know for myself, like I said, I've listened to Dua Lipa. When after that Metallica phase, I'll never forget when I heard "Cowboys from Hell," the song. I was an insane, super rabid Pantera fan, but I listened to Pantera. I listened to Poison. I listened to the Allman Brothers. I listened to Sabbath. I listened to Brad Paisley. We just went to a Toby Keith concert a little while ago. I listened to Maiden. I listened to Ozzy nonstop. Like, if it's good music, dig it. Who gives a crap what kind of music is it? You dig it, just dig it, own it, love it, and it's all good.
Oh yeah, man! Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, all that stuff in the 90s too. It was all that was great too, man. Yep. It's still going.
Absolutely.
That these kids today, man, they're still taking it to different extremes, and like this new shit, man, with this deathcore stuff, man. It's insane, like what they're doing, man. It's like, what the fuck?
It is. It's crazy, and the level of musicianship from a lot of the younger bands is just like unfathomable. 20 years ago.
They're coming out with these guitars that have like 8, 10 strings and shit. Like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Well, that's just it. Like watching the guys in Spirit Box or Turnstile. It's like, what in the hell is this?
Yeah. I'm still trying to learn the 6, man. Like, I don't know, man. I remember when Steve Vai. I remember when Steve Vai had the 7-string. I remember when he came on Headbangers Ball. Headbangers Ball. He was on there with that 7-string guitar, and he was like, it was like a world fucking opening event. Like everybody was like, "Holy shit, an extra string!" Like it was a big deal. Yeah. And like now you look back, and it's like, oh, that ain't nothing. Like.
Exactly. I'm still the same boat as you. I'm still working on the 6-string. I just can tune the top string down lower.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'm about out of questions. Is there anything else you want to let the people know, man?
Just follow us, Honda North people, on our Instagram, and look for our website, HondaNorth.com, and keep supporting, keep listening, keep streaming. And as soon as we got shows, big shows, small shows, all shows, come out and see us and meet us and talk to us, and keep supporting Metal Devastation, because it's people like you, Zach, that are keep on burning that flame so bright, and everybody better appreciate you as well.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Hey, before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag real quick? I know you sort of just did it, but like an official one. Just whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Sean from the Haunted North, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
Okay, I can definitely do that. This is Sean from the Haunted North, the guitar player of the Haunted North, and I'm here to tell you, get on it, listen to it, do it. Metal Devastation Radio.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
Awesome. Great talking to you. Talk to me again, and like I said, hopefully we'll get to catch up in person one of these days.
Definitely, man. We'll make that happen, dude. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I really appreciate it. And what I'm going to do now is going to blast some more Haunted North for these motherfuckers so they go crazy, all right?
Oh, that sounds great to me. Pick any track. Actually, you know what? I'll give you just my quick favorite top three right now off the top of my head is The Beast, Medusa, and Rise. But you can't go wrong with anything else either.
Hell yeah, man. All right, dude. Well, like I said, man, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to talking to you again at some point soon, man.
Sounds great. Take care. Have a great night, and appreciate you as well. And see you later.
Later, man. There you have it, folks. Sean from the band The Haunted North, live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking radio. Like I said earlier, like he said, fucking blast it loud. Put your speakers everywhere. And if you don't see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, folks, what are we doing, man? I mean, seriously, make it loud. Make it proud. I'll be back.